Megan Hicks of I Run Far. I'm with Sage Canaday. He's the second place finisher of the 2019 Pikes Peak Marathon. Well, that sounds pretty nice to roll off the lips.
Yeah, I mean, getting second to Killian's a huge honor, and I was really happy with how things went today. So, yeah, it was nice.
Major improvement for you from last year. Like, you had a great run here last year and even better this year.
Yeah, I mean, it was only 6 minutes faster.
Only? Come on, it's a marathon.
Yeah, last year I definitely struggled a lot more on the climbs, and I will say last year the conditions were probably faster, just the temperature was not as hot.
Okay.
I mean, it's nice to start at 7 in the morning, but definitely felt the heat, like the last 3 miles coming down the switchbacks there.
Where you sort of come out of the trees and you're facing the sun. And
yeah, exactly, and I don't know what the pressure was on top either, but no, I was happy. I was racing more for place, but to have that time improvement, to crack 340 was a big goal too. So I was happy with that. I had my splits on my arm here, and I hit them almost exactly,
right on,
at least to the top. I had dropped 7-minute miles on the descent, and I was running like 7:30 miles on the descent. So I didn't descend as fast as I wanted to, but I didn't fall this year and break a bone, so I'm happy.
I was going to say, I think you had a small injury here last year.
I'm pretty sure I broke my finger last year when I fell. It could have been a lot worse because running down the bar trail, especially, it was right above bar camp where there's big rocks, and it's not super technical, but it's technical enough that you could really hurt yourself. And you're going at, maybe 6-minute pace, 6:30 mile pace. It feels like you're running like 5-minute mile pace because of the rocks. And I like Supermaned out there last year. So no falls this year. I had a couple stumbles, but going against Killian, like it was like, Killian's 7 minutes ahead of you. He's 8 minutes ahead of you. And I was like, well, he's going to beat me by 10 minutes at least. I think it was like 12 minutes at the end, 13 minutes. And I was worried about losing my position because I was second place at the top. So I was really happy I didn't get passed on the downhill because that happens a lot in races, it seems like.
Can you talk for a minute, because you were here last year and this year, can you talk a little bit about how the course felt different, or maybe the weather felt different, or similarities and differences from last year?
First of all, it was more competitive this year, I think.
Yeah.
Just the density of like all the international guys. I mean, guys from Central America, guys from Europe. Being part of the Golden Trail Series, it's definitely like stepped up the game, and it's like to be top 10, you have to run like 350 or faster now.
Run out of your brain.
Yeah, so there's that. I mean, it was like that last year, but this year even more so. And with Killian here, of course, like it was going to be hard to win. And then it was definitely warmer this year, temperature-wise.
At the start.
The whole way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also
on
felt
top,
warmer up high.
Yeah, I mean, on top it's nice because it's not cold, but like I was sweating within 2 miles. I was like drenched in sweat.
Okay.
And I actually carried a handheld, my Nathan flask, to stay hydrated. And I drink a lot. I took in a lot of nutrition. And I just tried to take care of myself more this year, but I was definitely climbing better. Last year I was like bonking on top and I split like 220. This year I was like 215, 216. So I felt good about that, and to be in second place already on top was a nice feeling as well.
So talk a little bit about sort of the early miles, because it wasn't long until you had found yourself in second position, like by bar camp, I think?
Right after bar camp is when I got into second. I mean, there was a little lead pack the first mile out on the road here.
Okay.
And it was a hot pace. Like I said, you don't want to run a sub-6 first mile because GAP on Strava, it's like a 5:10 at already at this altitude. And then you got a lot of climbing to go, and it's getting warm. So Killian and there were a couple of lead guys up there, but we had a kind of a tight bunch pack, but by a mile and a half, Killian had opened up a gap. And I never saw him again after that until he turned around at the top. So like he was gone, and I kept hearing like he was 2 minutes ahead or certain splits, but you can't see really that far ahead there's not very many straightaways on the bar trail. So unless you're above tree line, I don't even remember seeing him up there. But I was able to move into third, and I was following.
It was Juan Carlos.
It was Juan Carlos. Yeah, he was right in. I was kind of keying off of him, and I think Remy was behind me at that time. Heading into bar camp, split 106. I wanted to split 107, but I was like, we're gonna roll with it. And then I caught Juan right after bar camp, like a mile after bar camp. So I was like, oh, you're moving into second. Like, this is good, but the splits above tree line weren't super fast, I felt like. So I was like getting discouraged, but I'm like, well, you're here to compete, you're here to run a good place, and I was opening up some daylight, and I want to open up daylight on these guys on the downhill, because I was thinking if you're not 4 minutes or 5 minutes ahead of some of these guys, they're going to mow you down on that downhill. So I'm worried about that. So I pushed pretty hard to get to the top, and then I was just running on fear all the way down.
So I was at the top, and I felt like among the men there, you looked pretty good. Like some of the guys sort of show up like foaming at the mouth a little bit, but you looked like in control.
Yeah, I mean, we have Colorado course, like home course advantage, kind of like I didn't have to do an international plane flight. I'm used to the time zone. I did a fair amount of altitude. Yeah, we've been camping in Leadville a lot this summer, even before Sierras and all. So like last month, I've run up, Elbert and Massive a couple times. So I've been trying to get in more altitude exposure for this race, and so that's definitely an advantage living and being in Colorado compared to these other guys that come from lower elevations. So that definitely helped.
Cruise a couple hours down the Front Range, and kind of a hometown race.
Exactly. Yeah. It's good to be back here.
So talk about the downhill. You did have some. I mean, it was, you were a little bit in what I would think of as no man's land at the summit. Like Killian was pretty far off in front of you, but then there were some minutes to the guys behind you. Were you just sort of like running scared and being like, just do it as best as you can without Supermaning it again? Yeah,
that was the first goal, is not to fall and hurt yourself and take yourself out of the race or get stitches again or something. I've done that several times. But the thing that really scared me was it was Mark Lauerstein who was in third at that point. And I don't know exactly what the spread was. I think I had probably at least 3, maybe 4 minutes. But I was like, gosh, Mark's a really good downhill runner. Yeah. Especially a technical downhill runner. So then the goal was get into the trees, get to bar camp, and don't get caught, because then after bar camp, you got those flatter sections. It's more like a dirt road. I knew my leg turnover, being a road guy, is much better. Whereas like the technical stuff, more technical stuff coming off the summit, Mark was gaining on me, and I didn't know the exact. I just assumed he was gaining on me, and I was worried he was going to catch me. And I knew there were other guys who were still pretty close to him. So like there was a very tight margin of a couple minutes there, and I think he got within a minute of me at one point. I think it was
just up on the course he was within a minute.
Yeah. And so I was looking over my shoulder. I never actually saw him, but I was running on fear all the way down. I think I was still looking over my shoulder with like 400 to go, because
making sure nobody was creeping.
I'm not, downhill's not my forte, and I was just trying to hold it together. I think I was probably breathing harder on the downhill than I was on the uphill, actually, and like my back was like spasming out, and like everything just hurts. But my legs are strong, and that's what I've been carrying that momentum from Sierras and all 2 weeks ago. I've actually felt like I got my mountain legs back finally. It took a while, but
you got them now.
Yeah, I could climb a bit better now.
So does this mean with a great performance today at this race, as well as in the Golden Trail World Series, does that mean you're gonna, put your eye on the next Golden Trail Series race?
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. Just I was trying to do the math on it. I still probably do some math on it, because it's all relative to how your competition does, and it's spread over 3 races. But now I have an opportunity to go back to Ring of Steel in Scotland, and I have some time too. It's in it's late September, so I actually have some time to prepare for that. I know the race from last year. It's very technical. There's class 3 scrambling. It's probably not my forte, but I have a chance still. And I didn't think I'd have a chance in the series, because originally I did the Mont Blanc Marathon 3 weeks after Comrades, which is a horrible idea. And I had this meltdown where I was like, all sorts of things are going wrong. And so I didn't get any points there. I was like, I don't even know what place, like 35th place or something. So you don't get any points if you get like 1 point if you're 28th or 30th or something. So like I was like, I'm out of the series. I can't do it. Like, I was signed up to do Dolomis Run, which is the next one in the series. But I said I need to train consistently and not race every 3 weeks like I had been doing. So I came back to Boulder and started training, working on my form, doing actual mountain workouts again. And then things were clicking at Sierras and all. So I got 11th at Sierras and all. And I was like, well, you still need to do really well at Pikes to even have a chance. So to get second here was definitely a step in the right direction, and something I'm happy for. And it puts me in contention still to be top 10 when they score after Ring of Steel, to see who gets to go to Nepal. So that's the goal now for this year's mountain running season, all late summer.
Got it. Well, congratulations to you on your 2nd place finish here at Pikes Peak.
Thank you.
And on a new Pikes Peak PR.
Yep. Yeah, I'll take it.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks.